Well, in today's video, we're going to be taking a brief look here. This is a very brief video. I got back into town this afternoon, actually, so it's coming out very, very late. But we are going to be taking a look at all of the major models because as I was out of town, we actually have had some development of a somewhat major, I would say moderate snowstorm for the mid-Atlantic, especially there in kind of like the Appalachian Mountain Range. So we're talking primarily about these areas in here. We're going to be watching for this activity. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute here. And we need to go through actually what's ongoing first off. And we do have a stronger storm system moving across kind of the Ohio Valley here currently as we speak. And this system is a bit stronger. It is a 998 millibar low pressure center, as you can see. So this is a stronger low. As we move on, though, towards about tomorrow afternoon, we can see this storm will move all the way up into Canada. Now, based on this kind of rotation, we will have some lake effect showers, both in the form of rainfall and snowfall for most of the lakes, as that low will be on the eastern side of things. Also, we can see this flow of Gulf energy moving up and northward in general here through a lot of the southeast and mid-Atlantic. And our jet stream is doing about like this as we take a look at all of these things happening. And we can see that by time we reach tomorrow evening, we will have even stronger storms moving through a lot of these areas. And even into Saturday, we'll see more of this. And we're going to see a low develop on the southern end of things near Florida here. And we see snowfall beginning a little bit here for Mississippi, actually, better yet, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina there. This is by the time we're reaching Saturday, or kind of like very late Saturday and Friday morning. We can see even more persistent snowfall coming down for Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina here, as this low is just offshore of South Carolina here. And this is going to be by about maybe 5 a.m. on Sunday. That's going to be Super Bowl Sunday, February 12th. We can see that by the time we are reaching a little bit later into the day, perhaps 1 or 2 p.m. here, we see heavier snowfall happening again for areas like South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, and even into Kentucky and West Virginia there. We can see that there is primarily these mountainous areas seeing the most snowfall. This will be a stronger low directly overhead for a lot of areas in eastern North Carolina, eastern Virginia. We see this kind of damming of cold air here on the eastern end, or better yet, the western end of things here, and we can see very heavy snowfall coming down for the mountainous regions of the Smoky Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains. I'd say the southern Appalachian Mountains there for a lot of Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, and portions of Tennessee there, a very beautiful area in the Smoky Mountains there. As we just continue this on, this will eventually come to an end. By the time we're reaching about Monday morning, it'll be all said and done. We do have a strong low, 993, sitting just offshore of the East Coast. But look at that. We don't have any cold air, not enough at least to cause snowfall, and this moves innocently off the coast. We see our next storm system developing right around kind of midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday time frame here. We have a cold front underneath, warm front here to the north, and this is a classic setup for severe weather to take place underneath. So we're going to be watching for these features as we move forward. And then we see another low taking a very similar position here with just more cold air behind it for Thursday, and this will be February 16th. Very strong cold front underneath again, a stronger warm front here, and certainly a very, very interesting setup with a lot of snowfall there on the back end of things for Missouri, Oklahoma, Kentucky, or better yet, Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin there. Very, very heavy snowfall with a 985 millibar low pressure center there over southern Illinois. And that eventually moves up as a pretty strong snowstorm here for a lot of the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes. A very strong severe weather event perhaps for the southeast as all of this activity moves through. So we'll be watching this pocket in here as we move through Thursday into Friday. And then we're left with very, very cold air taking aim actually at the eastern United States. Believe it or not, we see this cold air pouring in from Canada and the rest of the Arctic regions here. Very, very interesting setup. Now, as we just continue this on, we're left with that cold air and we basically come to an end. Now, the total precipitation, no surprise here, features a lot of storminess moving through the southeast and offshore of the east coast. Also, we see some of these kind of middle country storms coming through, and then the Pacific Northwest as well. So you get kind of like this storm track primarily happening. Total snowfall here, we'll take a look at these different areas here. We see a large snowstorm here taking place across the middle of the country, talking mostly the plains up through the Ohio Valley, Upper Midwest, and Great Lakes. And we see another very large snowstorm taking place for the Smoky Mountains primarily, there also. I'm gonna take a zoomed in look here at the southeast real quickly because obviously this is a very interesting storm for this kind of time of the winter that we've been seeing. We haven't seen much snow in the east at all, and here we are seeing a major snowstorm. A dusting, if anything, for a lot of these areas in the deeper southeast portions. That's going to be primarily just seeing flakes, maybe a couple spots with some dustings or a couple of inches in there, but primarily, we're going to be watching these Smoky Mountains in here where we can see 6 to 10 in the purples, 10 to 15 there in the pinks, and perhaps even 20 inches plus here for some of the Smoky mountaintops there, especially on the North Carolina side of things, where those mountains are actually a little bit taller, primarily over there. But also right along the border, we have some taller mountaintops there where we get kind of indications of 20 inches plus being possible from this model also. Now, the GFS model does also have this very major snowstorm. We get some mixing going on though for some of these areas. I do want to take a look quickly though at a zoomed in look at the total snowfall on this model also. And we can see a very major storm here as well, but we do get more kind of spread northward here with some of this snowfall, so we do get more areas experiencing the heavy snowfall. We get a little bit of some smaller totals here, maybe perhaps 10 to 20 in there, and then 10 to 20 here, kind of in those very eastern mountainous regions of West Virginia. Those seem to be the two hotspots here on the GFS model. Your Canadian model here, as you will see, also features this major winter storm. It's a little bit less major this time around on this particular model. And as you take a look at this southeast area here, I want to take a look at the total snowfall. We can see that there's a lot less here, 2 to 6 perhaps for some of these mountaintops, and then a dusting, if anything, in other lower elevation areas. So each model here, we're kind of seeing less and less. So European model has the most, GFS is the most spread around, but we see a little bit less there. Then the Canadian model is spread kind of like the GFS model, but we're seeing a lot less here, maybe 2 to 5, 2 to 6 inches max here for some of these higher elevation areas. Now, overall, when we take a look at the temperature pattern that's upcoming, we can see colder air is on the way. Even by Sunday, we'll see kind of neutral temperatures in a lot of these areas. And that is when we're going to see the snowfall coming down later that day. We see pretty significant cooling actually occurring very, very suddenly for a lot of these areas. And here, and that's going to be dynamic cooling. So what that means is the higher elevation where we're seeing the precipitation is it's so heavy that it's pulling the colder temperatures down from upper areas in the atmosphere down to the surface, and that's what's allowing things to change over to snow for a lot of these areas. Outside of that, it's mostly elevation based for a lot of that snow. So that is a very interesting fact about this upcoming storm. By the time we're reaching right around Friday the 17th, though, we do see that there is a bit of a boundary here that's being pushed where this cold air is starting to move into the east, and this warm air is starting to move out. And by the time we're reaching about the weekend, next weekend, so Saturday the 18th here primarily, we're seeing cold air in the east, and that doesn't last very long because already by Tuesday we see a full blown southeast ridge taking over most of the eastern United States here again, and a very major trough here out west. Once again, raining as the primary pattern here. And even as we reach the 24th of February, that is what we're seeing from this ensemble model. So that's the indication as of now that we're going to be seeing primarily this pattern for the foreseeable future. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like it. Be sure to subscribe as we do upload every single day, mostly earlier than this video, so keep that in mind as well. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload. Be sure to like the video, like I said, leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video.